So, how do you make a woman sexually desire you? Well, you got to do this one thing. And if you don't do this one thing, you'll get nothing but pity sex and it'll feel really degrading and emasculating. Now, many men struggle with creating sexual attraction and intimacy. Only today, I was having a coaching call with one of my clients, and he's a very smart guy, really, tuned in, and he's getting a lot of support. He's just got into a new relationship, and he's been in this relationship for a few months. And what he noticed was that he really wants to create a lot of sexual attraction, but he was making some critical mistakes. And even though he had watched a lot of YouTube videos on intimacy and sex, but he had a blind spot that he couldn't figure out. And as a result, she kept becoming more cold, more distant, not desiring him as much, not making moves on him. And once I pointed out this one thing that I'm going to share in this podcast with you, so if you stick around, you'll discover that it's incredible benefits. And one of the things that women are craving for is this thing. Guys, welcome to the Nice Guy Show. I'm your host, Faisal, and I'm joined with Chuck and Ari. And we're here to help you recover from the nice guy syndrome so you get what you want in love, sex, and intimacy. So, guys, what is this one thing? So, a lot of guys, when they are interacting with a woman, they always want to get to sex really quickly. It's our natural programming, it's programmed into us. But we always have this desire of getting to intimacy as quick as we can because we have this sexual need and desire. And as a result, a lot of the things that a lot of nice guys do always have this intent in mind. So, for example, when was the last time you gave her a massage and as you're massaging her, you got turned on and you wanted to get to sex? Because a lot of women will say, look, I just want a massage and I don't always want to have sex. I don't always want to get to that place. But my guy, he can't just give me a massage. Within like 6-7 minutes, he's already turned on and he's always trying to hump me. So this is real frustration that a lot of guys have. So what are they missing? What's that one thing they're missing? A lot of guys become way sexual and not sensual. And women desire sensuality first. That's the primary thing that women want before sexuality. Gentlemen, guys, Ari, Ashok.
How
Now,
do you define sensuality? Can you define that for us?
okay. So one of the ways I describe sensuality, it's like the way nice guys do it is the difference between lettuce and the difference between chocolate. Most of the guys are mechanical when it comes to sex. Most of the guys think logically when it comes to sex, but like lettuce. It's very practical. It's there, has a little bit of nutrition value, but it's not very exciting. Whereas sensuality, it's more flavorsome. It's more silky, smooth. It arouses you in all the right places without becoming very sexual straight away. It's the mental foreplay. It's the emotional foreplay. It's the energetic foreplay. That's what's missing with a lot of guys. And same thing happened in my own relationships in past. I remember my ex-wife said to me, she goes, I wish you would foreplay more. I'm like, what's wrong with 3 minutes of foreplay? Isn't that enough? What's wrong with that? What I later discovered was it's not just about the physical foreplay. There was a lot of foreplay that goes into it. So does that help you understand sensuality? So guys, Ari, you were about to say something.
No, I liked how you made foreplay a verb and flavorsome a noun. So I like how creative you are. I mean, I'm joking, but like that is, I think, one of your gifts, which is just your creativity, your playfulness, and that's something that's often missing for nice guys. They just want to get right to the action. and it's not all about action and performance. Um, it's about presence. Um, it's about connection, and those things don't have the same kind of rush or addictive feeling as orgasm does, or just getting to the action parts of sex.
So you guys guilty of like getting straight to the action point and missing out all the steps in between?
Sure. I mean, I think women are guilty of it too. Women complain about men not being into foreplay or not knowing how to do foreplay or not being sensual. But I mean, I've seen the same kind of habits with women. A lot of them are not as comfortable with the sensual aspects of it. I mean, I think it's
That's a good point, actually.
both genders. It's something like, I mean, just like nobody teaches us how to have sex, nobody's teaching us how to be sensual. These are all things we have to figure out on our own. Get get extra coaching. Um, but it's
Is
worth
that
it.
is that because women are told, or they've learned that guys just want to get to sex quickly, so I better assist or help them? I mean, or are they naturally more sensual, but they stop doing that because the guy just is forcing or rushing to sex?
Well, the word central to me means senses, and I think senses as in like body sensations and the way that we sense things. Um, so sensual, like actually being a full body experience. And for me, I think that, we are physical, we're emotional, and we're spiritual beings. And sex is the one place where we can connect on all three levels. And when you're at the deepest level and you're connecting physically, emotionally, and spiritually with another human being, that's the deepest part of intimacy that you can get. And to me, that's sensuality. But I think what most guys do is they're only getting to the physical part of it. And I think with women, they want to get to the emotional part of it. But then the next level is actually that spiritual, that sort of almost out of body connection that you can achieve when you're completely immersed in the moment. And so I think that until you understand that, so most guys are just like level one, let's just get off. Let's just, have sex and get off. And then it's just sort of the rush of the dopamine and oxytocin and stuff. It's like, okay, that feels really good, right? But sensuality, I think, is taking that time to actually connect on a deeper level. It's like you can heat, you can cook a rib in the microwave, or you can cook it, low and slow on over hours of time
Oh,
on a
low and
smoker,
slow. I like that.
and it's like which
Sexy
one
talk.
has, yeah. But I'm saying, so yeah, you can get straight to the meal, right? Or you can do the preparation, and maybe that's foreplay, but I think it's also just the anticipation piece of it. Like when you're cooking ribs on a smoker, like you're being methodical and you're taking the time and you're doing the rub and you're doing all these things, and then you're patiently waiting for it. And I think that anticipation actually is like, oh, that makes the meal even that much more better because you've worked so hard to kind of get there versus, throwing something in the microwave and having it heated in 3 minutes and just sitting down and eating it. So you can have them both. You can do both, right? But
Or
Yeah,
you
of
can
course.
you can get Uber Eats,
yeah, yeah,
I like
and
how just how you
it will
guys
get there
just
lukewarm and
right. Yeah. Or you can make it
I like how you
yourself.
guys I like how you guys just brought it back to meat and then
Yeah,
rubbing all
meat and
the
food.
spices and things on it. Because there's a lot of challenge that a lot of guys are having. They're having the dead bedroom. They're having where intimacy's faded away. They're having frustration of, oh, she doesn't want me. She doesn't desire me. She's not craving this, and I'm only getting sex. I'm getting pity sex. And I think this is the worst thing that guys are experiencing, is that she feels this obligation of wanting to give you sex because you guys in a marriage or something like that, in a relationship. And I think that's the worst place for a guy to be, is where he's like um eating at crumbs, keeping with the food things, right? He's eating at crumbs of trying to get the love, the connection, and then she just gives him pity sex. But the guys are making a lot of mistakes that they don't realize, that really understanding how intimacy works in a woman, and they're projecting usually like, well, I get turned on like this instantly, quickly, and I need sex all the time, whereas he's not really connecting to her, and that alludes to like obligation sex.
So what are you teaching your clients to do, Faisal? How do they break this cycle of mechanical sex and get sensual?
Become more chocolate. So it's that part of getting away from the lettuce and becoming more chocolate. And one of the things that I learned myself was accessing parts of my creativity that I wasn't, becoming more in tune with my senses. Like, Chuck, as you were talking and you were saying, oh, sex is about, you have the physical, then you have the emotional, and then you have the spiritual. Before I got into this work, I'm thinking there's more layers to this. What do you mean emotional? What do you mean about spiritual? It's just wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. you know, isn't that enough? I mean, isn't that what she wants? Isn't that what I want? But it wasn't. There's a lot more layers to this. So one of the things I teach the guys is, going, rather than being black and white, mechanical, go in the gray. Yeah, and I want to cover this. I do want to.
So
At
50
the
Shades of
end of
Grey, you're saying.
Yeah, so and 50 Shades of Grey, but also there's going to be some more stuff. So stick around with this podcast, because I want to get your two insights as well. And I want to share some other things that the guys can really start implementing now, can really skyrocket their attractiveness. So how about you guys? What are the things that you've learned, like the mistakes you made, and like you're now doing in your relationship or on your dates or when you're getting to bed? What is it? What's the difference that you're doing now?
I mean, I think understanding that you need to maintain a connection with a woman throughout the week, and there could be a buildup over days at a time. I think um, you can have playful banter, but it doesn't have to go straight to being dirty. I don't know. Those are some of the things that I've learned. I think it's a lot about slowing down. It's about appreciating, the sensations, like eye contact. I've discovered eye contact alone uh, can be a sexual experience in itself. It can be like a spiritual transformative experience.
Yeah.
Um, if your partner is open to that. Um, I don't know. Those are some of the things off the top of my head. So slowing down is something that I've been working on, and not sort of like evaluating sex based on quantity.
Yeah, I like those. I like that. I like the body language. That's for sure. The eye contact, that can have a huge, huge impact. I mean, a lot of sexual communication can be non-verbal communication as well. So not everything has to be words, but I mean, words are very powerful as well. Being present, that's such an important one, because guys tune out. They're in their head, overthinking. So it's good. And I love the point about not rushing. So there are some things that you are doing, and there's some things you've stopped doing, which is trying to rush the process. Well, how about you, Chuck? What's some of the things that you kind of like stop doing, and then kind of other things that you started to implement or amplify?
Yeah, and hopefully this won't be like too ethereal, but one of the things that I really try to focus on in my life in general, and this is just something that starts to happen in all aspects, is that when I'm in a position of I need and I want, then I'm in the position of receiver. Okay. And when I'm in the position of receiver, then I'm in the feminine, and there's nothing that's going to turn her off more than I'm saying, give me sex. I want sex. I need sex, and when I'm in that headspace, that goes back to like the obligation feeling. So rather than being a receiver or receptive, I need to be a transmitter. And so if I'm transmitting my energy, my grounded masculine presence, my sexual presence on an ongoing basis, you know, and I'm transmitting that, I'm building up the anticipation in her so that she actually wants that. She wants to receive more. She wants to be filled more. So I've got to get out of this headspace of I need sex to I am a transmission of grounded masculine presence and sexual energy that will fill you up and bring you to a higher level. And when I am giving like that, in general, I found to my wife, she's receiving that. And then it becomes a thing like she's so built up at that point that there's very, very little effort on my part.
Because you've done the whole effort, which is building that masculine presence, doing all the work. So it's not just the work that you have to do just 5 minutes before you wanted to have sex. It's like you've been working a lot. I mean, as you were talking, I was like, damn, this is very attractive. It's very masculine. It's very intentional. It's very leadership
Right.
in that. Yeah.
And it's one of
It's
the things I
not,
talk a lot about with guys is like how do you transmit to the world?
yeah.
What
Yeah.
is the energy that you're bringing into the room, and how are you transmitting? And so by practicing grounded, present, masculine energy that's solid and that is the sexual in nature, what you're doing then is you're transmitting that, and other people can feel it.
Mm.
But if
So
all I'm
what does
doing
that
is,
look like?
well, I think energetically, even it's just like feeling it in my body, just kind of
Mm-hmm.
mentally, like I'm giving you this. I'm giving you my presence. I'm giving you my anticipation. I'm like literally transmitting an energy from within me outward. Like I said, it's a little ethereal kind of thing, but I think with the practice, you can feel. I mean, that's the thing is when you're with somebody, you feel them, right?
Of course. 100%.
Okay. All right. So how are people feeling with me? How am I? And what we're feeling then is a transmission of this energy. And some people you feel the transmission and it's very anxious or it's very, angry, whatever. But if my transmission is grounded presence, and that's what I focus on bringing, then people are going to feel that.
This is one of the uh, things that a lot of men find it really difficult is that, as Albert Einstein said, he said everything is energy. So your whole being, your presence. Have you ever been in a room where somebody hasn't said a word, but you're like, I don't want to be around that person? Has that ever happened to you guys?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just the same thing as like you're energetically speaking. And this is what I call charisma. And when guys add more work on their masculinity, is called what I call masculine charisma. When they have this desire, when they have this energy, it creates natural desire. And that sounds like, what you're teaching, Chuck, is that you're creating this presence, you're creating this aura about you that is inviting, and it's like, I want a bit of taste of this. It's like a chocolate taste, right? I want more of this. So you're emanating that, signaling and broadcasting.
Now, nice guys can be very giving, but I think you're saying they're giving from a place of
Nice
neediness.
guys give to get, though, right?
Yeah.
That's the covert contract. So no nice guy gives unless there's, something behind it. So I think
Yeah.
that's the difference of like, I'm giving this without any kind of attachment to the outcome in terms of what I'm going to receive. It's not a reciprocation.
So I'm going to do the dishes. I'm going to do the housework. I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to fix a problem for you because I know if I do all of these cool stuff for you,
then you're going to get
I
me
should be
sex.
rewarded with sex. Yeah. So
Right.
I should be getting sex. One of the most important things that you said was, it's what I call WD, WD, right? Or something like that. It's with you, I'm good with you, I'm good without you. Right.
I was
GW,
thinking,
that's
what
it.
would Jesus do?
I
But
was like, what would Daddy do?
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
D, and they're like, oh, what's the D stand for?
GW, that's the one, right?
Mhm.
I'm good with you, good without you energy. Guys, here's just another thing, right? So I just kind of like fumbled on my words here, and I made a mistake. One of the things that's so attractive is being okay and comfortable making mistakes, getting it wrong. This is one of the things I see on when guys go out dating. It's like, I have to get everything perfect. I have to get it right. If I make a mistake, she's not going to like it. But
That's
one of the things that Dr.
control.
Glover talks about, is one of the things Dr. Glover talks about is like people fall in with your rough edges. People want to see that you're human, that, hey, you get things wrong. Now, going back to GW, good with you, good without you energy, that's a non-neediness energy. So I'm good if I get sex. And if I don't get sex, I'm still good. My world doesn't collapse. If I get rejected, I don't take it personally. I don't get butthurt. I don't want to take it on you. I don't want to go down in this negative shame spiral. And that's the difference between, pursuing the woman and then needing the woman and chasing her. And the guy who's chasing the woman or chasing the partner, because Chuck, you work with guys who are usually in long-term relationships, marriages. And those are the guys who are like chasing the woman. I need sex. I need sex. I need sex. Whereas the guy who said, I want sex, but if I don't get it, I'm still cool. What an attractive energy.
Is that Faisal, do you feel that's the key to sensuality, is to have that energetic stance?
I think it's not just one thing, but starting from that place, from you, from I would say for the guys, when I work with those guys, it's like, start from that place of not needing. You got to have this. That neediness energy just kills off all attraction. And that's where a lot of wives or partners, if they do, they'll give them pity sex. It's like, I just want this Jack Russell off my leg, right? It's like he's trying to Jack was trying to hump this. It's like, get off! I just give you sex, give you what I want, and then just get off my case. What's your sophisticated approach, Ari? Look at you. I think you've got some.
No, I'm totally. I've spent too much time as that Jack Russell terrier.
Humping the leg, trying to get.
Yeah, I mean it's very sad to be in that position. So I think what we're describing is a game changer for nice guys, but it can feel like a tall order when you're in a dead bedroom to, cultivate that sense of fullness within yourself. Especially if your wife has been withholding sex and affection and whatever. It can feel very hard to get to that place of giving from a place of abundance, which I think speaks to the need to, men have to be filling their own bucket up all the time in order to be in that stance. So that's this whole other layer of things that one has to do in order to create this kind of sensual engagement with a partner.
Did you guys experience that in your marriages or your relationships, where she just stopped giving sex and became cold, withdrawn, and then you guys were the Jack Russell?
Of course.
Definitely my first marriage, yeah. But today, no, I'm like, I'm just constantly
Low and
creating.
slow, baby, on the
Low and slow, baby.
barbecue.
Always low and slow, man. Yep. Yeah.
So, I want to start wrapping this up. And so, what are like a couple of things that you would recommend the guys as, what they could focus on for this? Chuck, let's start with you.
God. Stop focusing on your dick and focus on your heart. Like bring the energy from your heart center space as opposed to like the cock, we're so quick to like bring the cock energy, and it's like you really like penetrate her with your entire presence, you know and you can't do that if you're not tuned into the parts of your body energetically, like your heart and your gut, and like all of those things in alignment. um when you're bringing that fullness into the bedroom, then I think you're completely giving yourself over to uh energetically in the moment, and that's when you're going to have the most freedom.
Yeah.
But so many of us
Very
are
nice.
just like, let's just everything is about the cock, everything is about like stimulating that, and we miss out on you know 90% of the rest of the body.
Yeah, really good point. Yeah. And I guess there is time or a place for cock energy as well. But I suppose when
Yeah,
you've
yeah.
built enough,
Yeah, but it's like that comes last instead of first. Yeah,
literally.
literally.
Yeah, I mean, I think men aren't used to kind of tapping into different kinds of pleasure, different sensual pleasures, taste, touch, smell, visual pleasures. And we're stuck on our phones a lot of the time. So, are these things you are just doing in a solo practice as well? Do you have a pleasure practice? Do you take yourself out for a nice meal and just really savor it? Do you get out into nature? Do you practice mindful masturbation? That's another thing. Like where you're just enjoying your own body without such a focus on orgasm. So these are things you can practice on your own, and then you can bring them back to your relationship with a partner. Um, and you're going to be more attuned to, you know, the sensual aspects of your partner. It won't just be about her getting to an orgasm or you getting to an orgasm.
Yeah, I love those. Love those recommendations. So some of the things I would recommend the guys as well would be, you know, first of all, change your own kind of state, which is, get rid of that neediness energy, because that neediness energy is going to be, it's repellent. It's repellent in not just sex or intimacy, it's just repellent in all aspects of life. So when that somebody is really thirsty and hungry and just they become more forceful or they become really unappealing. So get rid of that neediness energy. And another thing that guys can do is really understand and slow down to know that there is, for women, they love to experience on multiple levels. And some guys do as well, especially now when I'm doing more of this work. I just don't need that physical I need physical, say, stimulation. I need multiple different layers of stimulation. So one of the stimulation is I have like the environment stimulation. So make sure our environment, maybe go for a walk, a sunset, a romantic place. So that's the first starting point. The second one is intellectual stimulation. So a lot of guys can be quite predictable, systematic, but go for the intellectual stimulation. And when you go for the intellectual stimulation, then build the next layer, right? So the next layer is what I call the emotional stimulation, where you might tell something that might be a really funny joke and also something really heartfelt. And after that, go for an energetic stimulation. This is where you're now really amplifying sexual connection between you two. This is a lot of the connection that happens without words. It's your presence, your energy, how you show up. What are you emanating? And I get guys sometimes to physically, like imagine that you're emanating this amazing light that's going out and, penetrating the world and touching the world. And then once you've done those layers, then go into the slowly transition into the physical touch. But if you've done the first few layers, most of the time she is wanting you. And the most important thing is create a void, create this vacuum where she wants you rather than you forcing her to sex. Because the worst thing is forcing a woman into sex, like where she feels obligated. So create a vacuum where she desires you, wants you. Another one tip I'll give to the little guys, because you're quite head focused, logical, systematic thinking. One of the things I always tell my clients is go and read some erotic novels. Go and read some romantic novels. You can read some short ones. You don't have to spend forever reading like 500-600 pages. There's plenty of erotic novels on the internet you can read. And then you'll see how the man seduces a woman. Learn those seduction. So it's the difference between eating lettuce really fast or savoring the silky, smooth flavor of a chocolate. And guys, this is something that I don't think you can really master this or do this really well on your own. What I suggest is you reach out to any of us. Go to theniceguyshow.com. Book a call with us. Just have a conversation, because we'll take you into places where a lot of blind spot sits there. Like just even working with a guy today, even though he spent a lot of time reading books and YouTube, there's always going to be something there, dear. You're making a mistake, which you need to stop. And there's always going to be something that you can amplify. So don't do the typical nice guy thing. Try to fix this on your own, because you're going to be wasting a lot of time and embarrassment. So get this handled, but you need expert guidance on this. So check out the Nice Guy Show, niceguyshow.com, and you can reach out to any of us. And also, if this has been really helpful and useful, please like, comment, and share, because this really helps us to reach more guys. And also, if you're on any podcast channels, again, do the same thing. And we'll look forward to seeing you in the next one.